This is the unfiltered feed. The unfiltered feed.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Feed podcast. And we are done previewing all 10 teams of the IPL. So, we decided to move on to other things about IPL. So, today we are going to be talking about all the team kits and rating them. I've got with me a kit expert, Yash, who got all 10 teams, and both of us will be ranking them by giving them a rating. Maybe you can get us started off.
Yeah, so I'll quickly explain how this works. Both of us have individually rated all the teams out of 10. I do know your predictions or your ratings, but I don't know the logic behind it. And you don't know mine, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise for you. So let's get started. Kick us off. We have got the defending champions first. So let's look at RCB's jersey for this year. It's not very different from last year. They've only made a few changes. So now let me give my rating first. I've gone with a 7. I think it's a good jersey. They haven't changed it much. They didn't have to change much. The Nothing branding looks very good. And personally, being a user of Nothing, I'm very happy that they've grown and now they're sponsoring the defending champions. The only, if there was one bad thing to point out, I would say I don't like the color above red, which is the navy or the dark blue. I think black looked much better in the past. The gradient doesn't work as much for me, but that's the only, it's a minor criticism, but apart from that, everything is very good.
No, माझं दाखव मी बोलतो.
Okay. So this is Wade's rating.
Yeah, so I gave this 8 simply because it is better than most of the other jerseys out there, and I really like the collar because if you remember, they had done away with it for quite a while, but finally, I think they first got it in the WPL jersey, and then now they've got it back in the IPL as well. So I really like that, and also, as you mentioned, the blue. I don't have very good memories with the blue in 2024, though they had an incredible comeback. But the saving grace is that it is not as light a shade of blue as that season. So I don't think it will be that noticeable when they're playing on the field. So that's why I think 8 is fair enough.
Yeah, I agree. 7, 8, it's very close. The one good thing that they've done with this jersey is adding that star, which is obviously
They've
for the
gone-
first time. Yeah, first time they've got a star, so that's a good addition. So now we'll move to the second team, which is Chennai Super Kings. This is their jersey. It's a bit of a change after so many years. So you're going to give your rating first.
Yeah, and it's a 8 for me again. I really like this jersey, and I don't know why they've gone away from the army shoulder
The camo pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know why they've gone away with it, but I think it was kind of an iconic CSK design element which they've gone away with. And the sponsor looks clean, all of the names, they don't look out of place. Like for RCB, I think the Sun Pharma does look a bit out of place there, but this is really good. And I think it feels one of the most professional looking, like international team like jerseys. That's why I've given it a 8.
That's very interesting. I've also given it a grade in the similar range, but it's one step below. As you said, I was a big fan of the army patch that they had on the shoulders. They still have it. If you look at the line, it has still got the army camo pattern, but it's not as prominent as it was last year. Plus, I don't like that the color of blues in the Etihad logo and the Ashok Leyland logo, and then the central pipes on the side, it doesn't match at all. So that's a bit of inconsistency, but apart from that, it's a good jersey. I also like the pattern that's in the background. It symbolizes the lion or the mane of the lion, which is very good. So not a bad jersey, but I think it's a slight downgrade from what they had previously.
Yeah, I think a different colored collar would have elevated it a bit more for me.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so 2 jerseys done. So far, our ratings have been quite similar, but I hope they diverge as we go on. Next up, we have Lucknow Super Giants. and they have completely refreshed their entire identity. A brand new jersey, a brand new logo, and a brand new set of sponsors. Hopefully, it's a brand new style of cricket as well. But I'm going to kick off the ratings for this, and I've given it a 8, which could be a big surprise for a lot of viewers and even for myself because when I first saw this jersey, it didn't look good at all. It felt like a Joker's costume. But now that I've seen it closely in a much better resolution pictures, I've also seen Rishabh Pant wear it at the Captain's Day that happened a few days back. It looks quite good actually, and it's even though red and blue are quite common in the IPL, I think the way they have made it work, it's quite unique. I also like the golden accents, so it looks a bit like a FC Barcelona kit, which is not a bad thing because they have made some iconic kits. So all in all, I'm quite happy with this jersey.
Yeah, I've given it a 5, and I think I kind of made up my mind when I saw it for the very first time, and maybe it was in the negatives for quite a while, and then it grew on me. But even after that, I can't give it more than 5. It just is a bit jarring to the eye, and I'm pretty sure that there was no real thinking behind those designs and those nail imprints in golden or whatever that is. It just doesn't signify anything. Not that it does for others, but at least they have some identity. And this is, I think, the third time they've changed their colors in
Yeah,
a short history of 5 years, which is remarkable and just shows that he's the owner doesn't really want to build an identity, because if you want to create a brand, I think you should stick with something and make sure it works rather than just jumping ships. So that philosophy I don't agree with. And this jersey in isolation, the only saving grace is that it is unique and no other team will have anything close to this. So that is why I've given it at least a 5.
yeah, I get your points. The only good thing I think you must say that is the logos at least are color matched and they don't have a random sticker on the front like they had last time.
Yeah, and I think in general, most of the jerseys have improved their logos just because of a couple of betting brands being missing, and that has really made a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this was the first time we didn't quite match. The next team we're going to talk about is Rajasthan Royals, who have also made quite a big change in their jerseys. They've gone back to the olden days. So let's look at your rating first.
Yeah, number 7, I've given it 7 out of 10. I liked this jersey. It's not that bad, and the kind of the mascot being there in the white outline, I think that is where I kind of begin to disagree with the thoughts of the designer a bit, because it it looks good. Maybe the concept of having that mascot there is good, but the white outline, it just doesn't match with the rest of the aesthetics. And I think the gradient is now a bit of a popular idea among designers, because if if you replace the blue and the pink with a bit more darker variants, you get the RCB gradient. So maybe from afar, you won't be able to tell the difference. But the only thing I like is the collar, which is in a different color, which just stands out and makes it look good. And I think this also is a bit closer to their 2020 jersey, which I
Yeah,
liked. So I'm giving it a 7.
that's very generous from you. I've given it a 4. I don't like anything about this jersey. First of all, it feels like the top half is very empty because there's basically nothing happening on the shoulders and even near the collar. So that feels like a standard, you know, like a polo that you would buy for casual wear. And I don't like the white mascot. It just looks out of place. For a while, I didn't even know what it meant, but if you look at their old logo, it's one of the lions that's blowing the trumpet. It's not even on their logo, which is on the jersey. So I'm not sure if the fans will even know what this means. Plus, I don't like the fact that most of the jersey is blue. If the gradient was reversed, where the top part was pink and the bottom part was blue, I think it could have worked. But this, I don't like it. Not even one bit.
I think
So,
when you look at it as a entire kit, the trousers included, it looks a bit better because the trousers are also pink. So
hmm,
as a whole, it the blue doesn't stand out that much. So that can be a saving grace.
maybe, yeah. But yeah, we are ranking jerseys. But anyways, 4 out of 10. I think this is the lowest, so it can't get worse than this. And this is also not that bad. So it's actually, I don't like the design, but the jersey itself is fine. So let's move to the next team now, which is Sunrisers Hyderabad. They haven't changed much, but I think they've added a bit more orange to their jersey this time. And it's time for me to go first. I'm checking who's going to speak. My rating for them is 6. I think this is a slight downgrade in my opinion. The black now just feels like random scratches on the jersey, whereas last time there was a clear pattern where it was twisting and it felt much better. Plus, I don't like the curl or cool logo, whatever it's called. The blue, it just doesn't work on the jersey. The SRS logo as well, it's not outlined properly, so you can't even read the SRS logo properly. But yeah, it's not that bad. Slight improvements, and it would have maybe become a 7 or 8 for me.
Yeah, I've given it a 9 because of the standards that IPL jerseys have. I feel this is a lot better than most other jerseys, though I can understand where you're coming from. I think the Shri Cement, as horrendous as the name sounds, but the way that it's kind of highlighted there in the black background actually makes it look good.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't cut points for that. And I think last season they had a lot more of black going on, and the trousers were also black. I'm not sure what the trousers are this time around, but I like a more orange centered jersey because after all they are the Orange Army. So I've given it a 9.
I was actually surprised to see 9. I think maybe a 8 is the max they should get. But anyways, now we move to the defending runners-up. It's the Punjab Kings who have also made a huge change to their jersey. And let's see how we feel about it.
Yeah, I've given it a 5. My heart was broken when they too added blue to their jersey. There's just no connection with Punjab Kings and blue. So I don't understand why they had to move there. And the red, the other part of the jersey is actually not that bad. It's a kind of a pattern which centers around the logo on the left chest, which
Yeah.
is actually a good idea, I would say. And the CP Plus, I mean, you can't really expect much from those logos there. I think apart from them adding blue, this is simply my way to protest against that. So I've given it a 5.
Yeah, I also agree 100% because I've also given them a 5. I think the blue would have made sense if Kent was their principal sponsor at the center because then it makes sense to add their accent colors to the jersey. But Kent is just on the chest and adding blue to match that logo, it doesn't make sense. Because as you rightly said, they don't have blue in their actual logo at all. So it feels very weird. But other than that, this jersey is fine. I'm not a big fan of the lion mane pattern because it feels like they've copied CSK or CSK copied them. I don't know, but it feels very similar to that. But yeah, all in all, there's nothing much happening here. There's just a lot of patterns and 2 logos, so it's not much to talk about.
Yeah, I think Kings 11 Punjab back in the day had a bit of a silver going on. And then Priti Zinta said in an interview that BCCI didn't allow them to put silver. So when they rebranded to Punjab Kings, they added golden instead. And I think they embraced it a bit because they also had their helmets golden. And then I don't know why they've suddenly just gone to blue, out of the blue.
Yeah, I actually saw an edit for this jersey where they swapped out the blue for the silver, and that looked epic. That would have been the best jersey if they had that, but unfortunately, the
Yeah, of
IPL.
course, BCCI had some issues with that.
Yeah. All right. So I think we have done 6 now. So last 4 to go. And now we have the champions from 2024. It's KKR. And they have gone back to the old days with this jersey. And let's see what I think about it. I've given it a 7. I think the golden saves this jersey a lot because it reminds me of the old Nokia days where I think Gautam Gambhir used to lead the side and they had a similar darker shade of purple with gold, and that looked epic. But other than that, I don't like the sponsor logo placements, the RR and the cable. Why is it at the side? Why can't it be below? Plus, the pattern in the background also isn't that good. It doesn't appeal that much, but the golden saves the jerseys, which is why I'm giving it a 7.
Yeah, I've given it a 6, and I think purple was one of the better colors, and they had so much of a chance to play around with it. And I can't believe that they've messed up here, because I think a little darker shade would have been very, very good, because that is something people can relate to with KKR in their
Yeah.
iconic days. I know black, again, you can't. BCCI has some regulations, but a darker shade like the old days where I think the Gioni and Huawei or whatever, those days, I think that color was really good. And as you said, the golden does save it a bit. And as I wanted to point out, having RR as a sponsor is just very, very funny, because I'm sure you're not that in need of money that you just agreed to have such a sponsor. And at least have KKR, because I know there's a firm called KKR. I know I'm digressing a bit, but it is hilarious and ironic to have a team, a sponsor called RR for KKR.
That's a good one. Bhattacharya would say, what could have been? But at the end, it's not as bad as a few other jerseys. So now let's move to my favorite team. And I'm very sad that I can't rate them first because how the order works. It's obviously Mumbai Indians. And this is actually a very good jersey. Let's hear your thoughts first, obviously.
Well, I've given it a 8, but I'm a bit confused because I remember seeing it as a bit of a different jersey, or maybe it doesn't look that way here. But they have got the light and the dark blue going, which is quite good, and I like it. The
Yeah.
golden over here looks a bit excessive, but I, I can assure myself and all of you guys that when they are on the field, it doesn't look that jarring, which is
Correct.
good. And I think the Malaysia Airlines is a decent one. But of course, Lauritz Nadasen is a horrendous logo to have there. Not just talking about the name, but the branding itself is horrible as well. So, but you can't really say much about that. I think 8 is fair because they've gone back to a color pattern which was quite popular back in the day.
Yeah, I've also given it 8. And obviously, this is a bit of bias, but at the end of the day, this jersey, if you look at it, it's got a nice gradient. I think if you look at the actual sleeves over here in this picture, the blue is slightly darker. And I think in reality, the shoulder also has the same darker blue. So it's got that nice golden, I think there's a golden pipe, and below that, it's a lighter blue, and above that, it's a darker blue. And if I'm not wrong, the pattern also kind of fades away as you go down to the jersey. So this is a bit, it's not as representative. The real jersey is much better than what this shows. But yeah, I'm very happy that finally they've gotten rid of this stupid red logo because that was absolutely destroying what was actually a very good jersey even last year. So I'm very happy that the logos are finally color matched once again.
Yeah, and I have to credit them this time around because it's a very rare achievement in the history of IPL jersey designings where you have all of your logos or brands as sponsors having the same blue as their principal color. If you see,
Hmm.
not a single out of place. Of course, Geo is mandatory logo, but all other
I
brands
think
they
it,
are
it also
primarily
helps
blue.
because these brands don't even have a color, so it's just a white logo, so it helps.
Yeah, I think Astral Pipes on one of the other jerseys looks out of place, but over here it's the same color, even Skechers. So, as such, it helps a lot. Though I'm sure brands don't think of this as a primary reason while signing brands, but in this
Yeah,
case, it helps.
yeah. Obviously, they have a DHL logo at the back, but it's behind, so it doesn't really matter much. But yeah, it's a huge improvement compared to last year, especially this red logo. So yeah, let's move ahead to the next team. We have two more left, and now it's time for the Gujarat Titans, and I'll go first for them. I'm actually a bit disappointed with this jersey. I think it's a very clean jersey, but I feel it's just empty now because there are those two lightning bolts on the shoulder and then two lightning bolts at the center. And apart from that, there's nothing else happening in this jersey. I really liked their jerseys from 2022 and 2023, where they had that electric blue as well, which looked much better and it complemented the darker blue really well. And since then, each year they've tried to reduce the amount of accent colors that they put on their jersey. And I'm also not a big fan of this collar because it's semi-collar. It doesn't look that good. So all of this combined, I've given them a 6. Sorry, yeah.
I've given them a 8, and I really like clean aesthetics in general, and considering the rarity of them in this league, I think we have to appreciate whenever we see such jerseys. And for once, I'm glad that the colors are matching the colors of the Gujarat Titans logo, because
Yeah.
again, that is something very rare. You see a lot of logos not matching with the colors of the actual team, and here we have a lot of similarities. They had that blue, which I really liked back in 2022, which made me buy that jersey as well. But over the years, they've gotten rid of it, but at least they have stuck to a fixed pattern. And I think similar to CSK, they rarely make any major changes, and completely opposite to Lucknow Super Giants, which is quite good. And I think Torrent for once looks like a quite a clean logo to have right next to your team logo.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also love the Birla Estates logo. It's got the royal vibe, and it for some reason matches Shubman Gill's aesthetics. You know, he's called the Prince as well, so I think he will look very good wearing this jersey.
Yeah, and I have to say there are quite a few teams with Astral Pipes as their sponsor, the new Dream 11 in town.
Yeah, so it's Geo on one side, Astral Pipes on the other side. Right, so we have reached 9 teams, so it's time for the last one, and obviously, you know which one's missing. It's the Delhi Capitals, and Ved will go first.
Yeah, I've given this a 7, and I really liked it when I saw it for the first time. I'd actually given it 9, but I brought it down because I think it resembles a lot with their logo as well. The three tigers, and we've got the tiger aesthetics going on. But the hero FinCorp in green just absolutely kills it for me. And I'm sure they had. I've seen this hero logo in red color as well, so I don't know why it's in green over here. So I like the thing. I think the a collar in red color would have made it even better. And I think that is something they have done in the past as well. So a couple of tweaks here and there, but I think overall it's a good jersey.
I agree that it's a good jersey because for me, it's the best. I really love this jersey. I know that the All Seasons logo and the Hero FinCorp logo is a bit out of place. I don't mind the Hero FinCorp because it's at the center and the green, it kind of contrasts well, but the All Seasons logo doesn't work. But I can't leave aside the base pattern of the jersey. For once, Delhi have embraced a lighter shade of blue. It's not as dark as it's been. And I really love the transition to red. It's basically a blue jersey with some red. In the past, they've always attempted to make a half blue, half red jersey, which doesn't really work. So the jersey itself is amazing, and like you said, it kind of matches the tigers in their logo. So it's got some purpose. It's not just a random blob of blue or red. And it's designed by Puma as well, so that logo adds a bit of value, like you might know, obviously. But yeah, because of all this, I'm giving it 9. My favorite jersey of this year.
Yeah, I remember the 2022 horrors of a Delhi jersey. It
Yeah.
had a split line between and red and blue. That was quite a poor one. And I think this reminds me of the 2021 jersey a bit. They had the super team, and that jersey, when they transitioned from a lighter blue to a more darker one, I think they just went off track after that. But this is the one which I really like. Now I feel I should have kept my rating, but yeah, 7 is still a good one.
Right. So with that, we've reached the end of the jersey rankings. Here's a look at all of our ratings for all the teams. I think you've given a lot of eights, so 4 8s from you and 1 9. So that's quite a conservative rating. Whereas I've given a lot more sevens and sixes. Just 1 8 and just 2 8s and 1 9 from me. So yeah, what do you think of the final ratings?
Yeah, I think as a whole, there have been a lot of improvements from last year. Last year, we had a few teams really not taking it seriously, and I think half the teams were sponsored by Dream 11. It just didn't feel that good. But this time, I think we have seen quite a few upgrades. Apart from a couple of teams, I don't see anyone was downgraded their jersey, which is a big positive.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. So that's another exciting video coming to an end. I usually look forward to seeing all the jerseys, so it's great that we were able to rank them.
Yeah, and I think the jerseys will keep coming and keep going, but there will always be the one and only best jersey. I will never agree that anything else is better than this.
Yeah, I have to say, at least for RCB, that was the best jersey with the black and red.
Yeah, so I think with that we have come to an end for this video, and we will be coming up very soon with another video where we'll be predicting a lot of things for the upcoming season. And I hope you guys have been enjoying our content so far. We have been working quite hard with our long form previews and shorts as well. A couple of edits in between as well to gain some views, of course. So I would like to thank our viewers. I've seen in the last week or so we have gained 4 subscribers, which is for us it's a achievement. We have
Yeah,
bumped up to
it's
34.
more than 10% of our total subscribers, so that's a big achievement.
Yeah, we started this year at 17 subscribers, and our aim was to reach 100. I think doubling it in 3 months is quite good. So thank you for your support. And I also would like to share with the viewers and you that we have crossed 100,000 views on the channel as a whole. And about 35,000 of those views have come in this month.
That's incredible. The growth is definitely happening. And to all the viewers, I want to say a big thanks and good job to Ved because he's the one who basically uploads and mostly even edits all the videos. Both of us obviously recorded together. I usually try and design the thumbnails and the overall visual appeal of the channel, but Ved has been working really hard. So kudos to him.
Thank you for all of your wishes and efforts, and hopefully, you guys will continue enjoying more videos from us. So, with that being said and everything done, I think it's time to take a pause for now and we will resume shortly.
स्टेडियम में शोर है एनर्जी ऑन द फ्लोर है दिस इज द अनफिल्टर्ड फीड